Hello, welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man. In this series of videos we are going to be looking at the new Anafenza from Dragons of Tarkir. The deck we're going to be playing is a sort of Melirapod variant, as it were, as Anafenza's ability. Very similar to Melira's in that it can knock -1/-1 counters off persist creatures, which allows you to repeatedly do that. So that's basically what the deck was designed to be. We've got Viscera Seer, Anafenza, and Kitchen Finks, and then the Murderous Redcap for the kill. Obviously Birthing Pod is no longer in this format, banned of course, so we're using sort of Collected Company and some chords as sort of ways to tutor up our guys, and then we've got some nice little sort of one-of targets here: Scavenging Ooze, Chrysolid Pride Mage, Spellskite, some Flicker Wisps as well, and then Eternal Witness, because that works particularly well with Collected Company and Cord. You can Cord and get back your Cord. If you hit Eternal Witness off your Collected Company, you can get back your Collected Company and do it all over again. So that's sort of roughly the list. I've got some Mana Dorks here. Sideboard is very much a work in progress. Probably don't copy this sideboard. But yeah, this is the list we're going to be working with and just testing out to see how good or viable this deck is. And this is the first video. Got a game against Mono Blue Tron, just to sort of kick us off. So we'll get rid of that. So this is our opener. I think we're on the play, if I remember rightly. Looks fairly reasonable. We've got Bop into either Kitchen Finks or Flicker Wisp, and then we've got Collected Company. We've also got Gavany Township, which is a really good one. If we can get these creatures out and then start pumping them up with the Township, that looks fairly nice. Obviously in the dark, seems like a fairly good hand. So it's going to get a Temple Garden. Run out of Bop. He's off of the power plant, so he's obviously on some kind of Tron kind of strategy. Gonna run out of the Township here and out Kitchen Finks. Can't place Tower and passes, so he might have to turn through Tron, which is always a little bit scary. Hit the 3. Let's keep the pressure on. Another Finks. I'm going to run out the second Bop as well, so we've got access to lots of mana. Also means we can activate this Gavany Township as well. Gets an Expedition map, so he's going to be able to find the Tron. He didn't have the turn 3 Tron, but he does have Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter being a threat to our Gavany Township, unfortunately. Is that for 6 here? Might be a situation where I'd rather play Collected Company, so I think in general I might rather play Collected Company, so we'll see how things go. So obviously I put Tron together, plays a Psalm Simulacrum, which reveals that he is Blue Tron, or possibly Gift Tron, I suppose. That deck seems to have increased in popularity recently. Blue-White Gift Tron, but looks like Blue Tron, Mono Blue Tron. And those are usually the people who are playing Solemns, etc. Put a Ghost Quarters, our Gavany Township. I look to respond with a Collected Company. I could have activated Township instead, but I just feel like we're kind of in the ascendancy, and if we can get some more creatures to beat down our opponent, that would work out well. I do it in response to the Ghost Quarter, which turns out to be a bad idea, as I believe we hit 2 Eternal Witnesses. So if I did not post Ghost Quarter, we could actually got our Gavany Township back with these witnesses. As it is, we're just going to get a fetch back and our Collected Company. So just going to bottom these lands. Then we're going to get back a fetch and the Collected Company. But yeah, timing your Collected Companies is something that I need to learn a bit more about, I think. Sometimes you've got to, I'm just keen to just whack it off, but sometimes it's best to time it just in case you hit something that would make it relevant at a later stage. So we draw into a Pride Mage. Just want to run that out. If you had a Mindslaver or something like that, it'd be good to have the Pride Mage out, I feel. Collected company up as well. Second with everybody. Imagine he's going to block. Box of Thinks. So he gets to draw a card, but he's going down to 4 here. And need to wipe the board, right, probably. And we've got a Collected Company to follow up any kind of board wipe if he has the mana, sufficient mana to do so. He's going to play Treasure Mage and get a Wormcoil Engine, which would also be rather annoying, but we've got this Flicker Wisp, which is going to be able to exile it. As it turns out, we're actually going to collect a company here, so you can find something. We'll find a Viscera Seer and a Flicker Wisp. So the Flicker Wisp can actually exile the Wormcoil Engine until the end of my turn. And yeah, as our opponent can see, he's obviously dead here. Can't block, and yeah, we got rid of the Wormcoil. But even if we hadn't hit a Flicker Wisp off that Collected Company, we had one in hand, so we could have done exactly the same thing and finished our opponent off. So yeah, we're a bit too fast for our opponent, kind of overwhelmed him. Collected Company did a great deal of work there as well. So yeah, that's a good game 1 for us. On to game 2. Sorry if I sound a bit coldy, by the way. I've got a bit of a cold going on. So there was a mulligan. It was a 1-lander. There's no will wave. Finally, the second land, I figured it's not the best keep. This looks a lot better. We've got Thoughtseize out of the sideboard as well, as a way to steal something out of his hand that could be important, or one of his big guys, Wormcoil Engine or something. So, going to find out, we're going to play a Hierarch. Yeah, this sounds actually slightly awkward in that we want to cast the Anafenza, but we also want mana for Thoughtseize. I decided to get the Thoughtseize mana up, but that might have been the wrong thing to do. Just make our turn 2 slightly awkward unless we can draw into a land. We draw Razor Verge Thicket because we're very lucky. So we can drop the Anafenza and Thoughtseize. Didn't quite see what was there. Let's start that again. Sorry about that. Just missed the play there. Let me just speed through. Right, our Hierarch. Plays Talisman Dominance. Play the Anafenza. Then Thoughtseize, revealing Just the Knowledge, Treasure Mage, Cyclonic Rift, and Noxious Revival. Don't really care about Noxious Revival. Don't really care about Cyclonic Rift too much, unless it gets to the late game. Just bouncing 1-for-1 with our guys is not the greatest. Also, we have a lot of comes into play abilities, so it's not the most scary thing in the world. I don't really want him drawing any more cards if possible. His hand's not the greatest, not the most exciting. Nowhere near getting Tron together, so it's kind of a toss-up between Treasure Mage and Thirst. I think Thirst is probably the right play, especially I don't want him searching up big guys. I think it's a lot better than him drawing into Tron pieces or something similar. So I end up taking the Thirst. Let me know if you would have done something different. So opponent finds an expedition map, which is fine. still not very close to playing Tron. So I had to collect a company on my own turn, knowing that he's not got any counter magic, which is a fine play. I don't know if I fully agree with it necessarily. I think I did it in my main phase because I was hoping to pump up an offender a little for an attack. As it turns out, it probably would have been better to do it on end of turn, as the cards turned out, as it were, as I think I hit a couple of Flicker Wisps, if I remember rightly. Cyclonic Rifts the Anaffenza in response, so we don't actually get the Anaffenza activations. So yeah, we found 2 Flicker Wisps. If I'd done this on the end of my turn, this would have worked out really nicely. It was actually be able to steal 2 of his permanents until the end of his turn, so I could have taken his island and his talisman, and he'd be very short on mana, which would be nice. So yeah, again, I think a lesson about timing, I suppose. Maybe I would have been better off doing that end of turn. So getting the Anaffenza activations would definitely have been relevant. So if Flicker Wisps come into play, we don't really have any interesting targets for them in our main phase because they're just going to come back at the end of my turn. So I'm just going to untap. I'll raise it and untap the Noble Hierarch because nothing better to do really. Finds a Tron piece, plays out his Treasure Mage, and he reveals a Mindslaver, which is a little scary, but there isn't a ton that he can do with our hand at the moment. Obviously I don't want him taking my turns, but we can't even cast Murderous Redcap, so we couldn't Murderous Redcap our own creature or anything annoying like that, so our hand is fairly well protected against such plays. Draw Kitchen Finks, so let's attack over for 6. Could have. I decided to play Kitchen Finks instead. I think I was looking to go wide. Also, if he happens to wipe the board, Kitchen Finks will just come back and I can activate Gavany probably if I draw another land. So I don't hate that situation. It's flavor at the moment, so I'm not too scared about it. I'm just going to attack with everyone. Can't attack with his Treasure Mage. Not entirely sure why. So he's going to go down to 5. I've got Abrupt Decay up. Could blow up his Talisman just to sort of mana screw him a little bit. I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. Can't quite remember what I did here. I think I just passed the turn with Township up. That looks of it. Noxious Revivals his map back up so he can put together Tron, which allows him to cast a Wormcoil Engine, but then he concedes because that actually doesn't do anything, as we've got 2 Flicker Wisps that can fly over. So yeah, I've had sort of mixed feelings about Flicker Wisp. It is kind of lame as a sorcery speed card. Certainly a lot better when you're like instant speed dropping it in, which you can do with Collected Company, and it's nice, but you do have to play for that, and sometimes it's still not all that exciting. It can do a lot, and it does fly over, which is useful in situations like this where your opponent just drops a Wormcoil Engine on you. If I didn't have Flicker Wisps, I would be in a fairly bad state here. Obviously we still have Gavany Township, so we could probably pump our way through it, I guess, but it would not be a great situation for us. So Flicker Wisps did do a lot of work, but I've still got slightly mixed feelings about them in this deck. But anyway, this was a good little match to show you the deck and how it works, and I will be back with more.